Hi everyone, it's the new year and I get a lot of requests for the favorite exercises or stretches that I do when I'm done running. You can do this for walking, swimming, whatever activity you are doing that uses your lower body. This is all good. The most favorite stretch I do, because I have coached high school girls cross country and track, and especially on the harder surfaces, and my friends who do ultra marathons, 30, 60 miles, they're always getting shin splints, and it derails them for 2 or 3 months as they recover from those. So I'm going to turn the camera down a little bit so you can see my feet and maybe cut off my head here, but you want to lean against a wall or a car, and your feet will be pointing out, your toes pointing out, your heels touching. We're going to do shin lifts, toe lifts. So about 15 to 20 of these. If you do 20 for the first time, your shins will probably start burning. But the idea is to really strengthen the muscles and the sheathing that coats the shins and keeps them nice and strong. So when you are pounding the pavement, your shins will think nothing of it because the muscles surrounding them are going to be just fine. All right, so you do start with 10, progress to 15, and then if you feel no burning, keep going to 20. Then your legs are in the straight position, feet are pointing straight ahead, and you're doing toe lifts like this, lifting them up. You can see all this wonderful packing department materials we have when I send out my books. You're looking at it. We do everything right in this room. And the point here is not to rock or jump your body too much, like I'm over-exaggerating here. So when you lean against the wall, that kind of steadies your upper body. And you really just want to focus on lifting those toes. All right, after 10 or 15, we point them in. Your toes are almost touching, like pigeon-toed. Lean back, your butt is touching the wall, and your legs are straight all the way down. And we do toe lifts, trying to just lift the toes into the shins. Obviously, you won't go that far, but that's the idea, is to work those shins as best you can. All right, next stretch, pushing against your car or the wall, whatever is close. You want the back leg straight, the front leg is bent. You are looking straight ahead, upper body very straight, and press into the back heel. You should only feel the stretch right from the calf to the heel down, and not too much of a stretch in the heel, or that will become problematic. If you don't feel a stretch, and I don't feel a stretch doing it this way, I have to turn my back foot in a little bit, toes pointing in, and that increases the stretch. But again, just pushing against the wall, your hands are straight ahead, that's going to help with, a lot of people say that all running is connected to your calves. So switch legs, and that is stretch number 2. Stretch number 3, the very famous runner's quad stretch. But the trick to this is doing it right, and I was not doing it right until I learned from my coach how to do this. So you want to put your knees together. You're looking straight ahead, stomach in. You can even do this balancing. It's a good balance pose too. And then you try and reach your heel toward your butt. The key here is keeping the knees together, and that is really what focuses the stretch in the quadricep, in the thigh muscle. Pulling it in, pulling the stomach in, standing up straight, and trying to get your heel to touch your butt. Nice deep breaths always when you stretch. And then switch legs. You can do this holding on. We'll do it from this angle. So again, standing up nice and straight. The knees are touching. Your shoulders are back, standing straight. Trying to touch your heel to your butt. You can let go, do a balance, do a tree, whatever. It's all about stretching out muscles after you run. Then we go to the groin stretch. So you bend your right leg, elbow into that leg, keep the opposite leg straight, and you will feel the stretch in that opposite leg. Try and keep your weight back on your heels. That will protect your knees. Very important. Whether you're doing lunges or stretches like this, your weight stays on your heels so you don't have your knee ever come farther than your toes. You should always be able to see your toes. All right, let's do, there's a stretch we can do standing with your ankle above your knee like this, which will stretch your hip flexors and Other connected muscles in that area, stretches your glutes, all that good stuff. You can do this balancing, switch legs. You know, in yoga we call this the chair pose. Yoga is so great. If you can get to a yoga class after running on your cross-training days, that's really awesome. Okay, so we can do this standing, and a lot of races I do. I don't bring a towel with me at the end of a race, so I have to do standing poses like that. But if you can, get yourself on the ground, and there's some other hip flexor stretches that we can do. So this is called the figure four, or thread the needle. You put your right ankle across your left leg right above the knee. Feet are flexed. Now this does nothing for me, even though I've got my right elbow pushing against the inner thigh on the right side. So bring the straight leg down, pushing your knee into the outside of the right ankle, and continuing to push with your right elbow against the right inner thigh. And that should be a nice stretch. Hold these stretches for anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds, increasing as it feels good for you. We switch legs. Figure four, thread the needle, straight leg position, feet flexed. Bend that right knee against the left ankle and really enjoy that stretch, pushing with your left elbow against your left inner thigh. Okay, while you're down here, bring your knees up, and you can do happy baby, grabbing the insides of your feet, rocking back and forth. All good stretches. And then the final one is another yoga favorite called the pigeon. You can start with it up on the downward dog position. And while you're here, stretch out, walk the dog, and then raise your right leg, bring it under your chest. For some people, you will stay right here, and I'll back up so you can see it. This is as much of a stretch as is good for you. If that works, great. Or for some of the more bendy people like me, you come over that front knee and just kind of collapse onto it. But make sure your hips are rooted on the into the ground. If not, use your right elbow to press over to the left side so that you have equal distribution of your hips on the ground as much as possible. And then you switch sides. And then also butterfly, another great stretch. Grab your heels while you're in this position. Try and sit up straight. Very good for the groin. I just had a very dear friend who always beats me in my age group, except that she's often injured, and her latest injury was a groin stretch. And she's just an amazing fast runner, but I don't see her doing these kinds of stretches. She's a really busy professional person, so that's just something to really remember, that these stretches keep you injury-free. They do. And another one you can do is a twist. So both hips are down on the ground. You hug that knee in front of you, and then put your hand behind you and look behind you, and that is really a great stretch for the hips. And trying, again, to keep those hips planted firmly down on the ground. All right. That's it for now. Hope that gets you all stretched out after your great run or whatever it is you're doing. Have a happy new year.